You've tried everything. The budgets, the side hustles, the vision boards covered in images of dream homes and exotic vacations. You've read the books, listened to the podcasts, maybe even worked with a financial advisor. You've pushed harder, worked longer hours, sacrificed weekends and evenings. And yet, here you are, still struggling, still wondering why prosperity feels like something that happens to other people, but never quite lands in your lap. There's a reason for that, and it has absolutely nothing to do with your work ethic, your intelligence, or your worthiness. The reason is frequency. Right now, at this very moment, you're broadcasting an energetic signal into the universe. Think of yourself as a radio tower constantly transmitting. And just like a radio tower, you're operating on a specific frequency. The problem is that the frequency you're currently broadcasting doesn't match the frequency of wealth. You're tuned to scarcity. You're transmitting lack, and the universe, like a perfect mirror, is reflecting that signal right back to you in the form of your bank account, your opportunities, and your financial reality. Everything in this universe operates on vibration. The chair you're sitting in, the air you're breathing, the thoughts moving through your mind right now, all of it is energy, vibrating at different speeds. Money is no exception. Wealth has a frequency. Prosperity has a specific energetic signature. And the only reason you don't have more of it in your life is because you haven't yet learned how to match that frequency. You're like someone trying to tune into a radio station at 98.5 while frantically wondering why you keep hearing the static and voices from 92.3. Over the next several hours, you're going to learn something that most people never discover in their entire lives. You're going to learn how to tune your energetic frequency like a precision instrument. You're going to identify the exact vibration you're currently broadcasting and understand why it's creating the financial results you're experiencing. Then, step by step, you're going to shift that frequency. You're going to move from the static of scarcity to the clear, resonant channel of abundance. And when you do, something remarkable will happen. The money, the opportunities, the resources you've been chasing will begin to flow toward you, naturally and effortlessly. I know what you might be thinking. This sounds like more manifestation nonsense, more positive thinking platitudes that ignore the real world. Let me be clear about what this is and what this isn't. This is not about pretending you have money when you don't. This is not about ignoring your bills or avoiding practical action. This is not about magical thinking or wishing your problems away. This is about understanding that your energetic state directly influences what you attract, create, and allow into your life. It's about recognizing that you can work yourself to exhaustion, but if you're vibrating at the frequency of lack, your efforts will produce meager results. Conversely, when you align your energy with prosperity, your actions become exponentially more effective. You work less and achieve more because you're finally working with the universe instead of against it. I've seen this transformation happen countless times. There was a woman named Sarah who came to this work drowning in debt, working 2 jobs, and feeling like she was running on a hamster wheel that never stopped. She learned to identify her scarcity frequency and shift it. Within 3 weeks, she received an unexpected job offer that doubled her salary. A man named Marcus had been trying to grow his business for 5 years with minimal success. After tuning his wealth frequency, he landed 3 major clients in 1 month without changing his marketing strategy. These aren't anomalies. They're not lucky breaks. They're what happens when someone finally broadcasts the right signal. So here's my invitation to you. Set aside everything you think you know about money. Release your skepticism just long enough to experiment with what I'm about to share. Give yourself permission to consider that maybe, just maybe, your financial struggles have less to do with the external world and more to do with the frequency you're transmitting. Because once you understand this principle and learn to apply it, everything changes. Your relationship with money transforms from struggle to flow, from anxiety to ease, from chasing to allowing. Are you ready? Then let's begin. Right now, before we go any further, I want you to become aware of something. There's a frequency running through you at this very moment. It's the energetic signal you're broadcasting about money, about wealth, about your own financial worthiness. Most people go their entire lives without ever becoming conscious of this signal. They just transmit it automatically, unconsciously, wondering why their financial reality never changes. But you're about to become different. You're about to develop what I call energetic literacy. You're going to learn to read your own frequency and adjust it at will. Close your eyes for a moment if you're in a safe place to do so. Take a deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs completely. Hold it for a count of 4. Now release it slowly through your mouth. Do that 2 more times. Breathe in deeply, hold and release. 1 more time. Breathe in, hold and release. Good. Now, keeping your awareness on your breath, I want you to think about money. Just the word, money. Notice what happens in your body. Does your chest tighten? Does your stomach clench? Do your shoulders rise toward your ears? Or do you feel expansion? Do you feel possibility? Pay attention to the very first sensation that arises. Don't judge it, just notice it. This is your current frequency speaking to you through your body. For most people, thinking about money creates contraction. There's a tightening, a closing, a subtle panic that ripples through the nervous system. This contraction is your scarcity frequency. It's the signal that says, there's not enough. I'm not safe. I need to protect and defend and hold on tight. And here's what you need to understand. Every time you broadcast that frequency, you're actually pushing wealth away. You're creating an energetic force field that repels the very thing you're trying to attract. It's like trying to pull someone toward you while simultaneously pushing them away. The universe receives mixed signals and responds by giving you exactly what you're vibrating, which is struggle and lack. Now think about someone you know or have heard of who seems to attract money effortlessly. Someone for whom opportunities just seem to appear. Someone who talks about money with ease and lightness. What's different about them? It's not their intelligence. It's not their background. It's their frequency. They're broadcasting a different signal. When they think about money, their body expands. They feel possibility. They vibrate at the frequency of abundance, and the universe responds by delivering experiences that match that vibration. You might be thinking, but I have real financial problems. I have debt. I have bills I can't pay. How am I supposed to feel abundant when my reality says otherwise? This is the question that keeps most people trapped in scarcity forever. They look at their current reality and use it as evidence for how they should feel. But here's the truth that will set you free. Your current reality is not the cause of your frequency. It's the result of your frequency. The financial situation you're experiencing right now was created by the energetic signal you were broadcasting weeks, months, or even years ago. If you keep using your current circumstances to determine your vibration, you'll stay locked in an endless loop of creating more of the same. The only way to break the cycle is to choose your frequency independent of your circumstances. You have to make a radical decision to tune yourself to abundance before you see evidence of it in your physical reality. This isn't denial. This isn't pretending. This is understanding the mechanics of creation. Frequency first, manifestation second, always, without exception. When you shift your vibration, your reality has no choice but to reorganize itself to match the new signal you're broadcasting. Let me tell you what happened one Tuesday morning in a coffee shop in Portland. A woman stood in line, staring at the menu board, calculating whether she could afford the latte she really wanted, or if she should stick with regular coffee to save $3. Her jaw was tight. Her thoughts were racing. I shouldn't spend this. I need to be more careful. Money is always so tight. She could feel the familiar knot in her stomach, the one that showed up every time she had to make a decision involving money. The barista smiled at her, waiting for her order. She opened her mouth to say, "Small, regular coffee," when something stopped her. She remembered something she'd been learning about frequency, about how every small decision either reinforces scarcity or opens to abundance. She took a breath and made a choice. "I'll have the large latte, please." As she said it, she felt a tiny crack in her usual pattern. It was just $3, just a coffee. But something was different. She wasn't being reckless. She wasn't ignoring her financial reality. She was making a conscious choice to act from abundance instead of lack, even in this small moment. She paid for the coffee, and as she walked to a table, she noticed her shoulders had dropped. The knot in her stomach had loosened. She felt lighter. That afternoon, she received an email. A former client was referring her to someone who needed her services. The project was worth $4,000. Coincidence? She didn't think so. Now I want you to understand something crucial. Scarcity is not a reality. It's a frequency. Read that again. Scarcity is not a reality. It's a frequency you've been tuned into. Yes, you might have physical circumstances that look like scarcity. You might have an empty bank account or mounting bills, but those circumstances are not the root problem. They're symptoms. They're the physical manifestation of a frequency you've been broadcasting, often for years or even decades. The moment you understand this, everything changes. Because if scarcity is just a frequency, that means you can change the channel. Imagine your awareness like a radio dial. On one end of the spectrum is the scarcity frequency. It sounds like this. There's not enough. I'll never have enough. Money is hard to come by. I have to struggle and fight for every dollar. People like me don't get to be wealthy. The world is a place of limitation and competition. This frequency creates a very specific feeling in your body. It feels contracting, heavy, anxious. It makes you want to grip and hold and control. When you're tuned to this frequency, you see evidence of scarcity everywhere. You notice every bill, every expense, every story about economic hardship. Your brain becomes a scarcity-seeking radar, constantly finding proof that there's not enough. Now imagine turning that dial to the other end of the spectrum. This is the abundance frequency. It sounds like this. There is more than enough. Resources flow to me easily. I am supported by the universe. Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways. I am worthy of prosperity. The world is a place of infinite possibility and creativity. This frequency creates a completely different sensation in your body. It feels expansive, light, open. It makes you want to give and receive and flow. When you're tuned to this frequency, you see evidence of abundance everywhere. You notice opportunities, synchronicities, generosity. Your brain becomes an abundance-seeking radar, constantly finding proof that you are supported. Here's the remarkable thing. Both frequencies are always available. Always. You're not trying to create the abundance frequency or earn access to it. It's already there, broadcasting 24 hours a day, just like your favorite radio station. The only question is whether you're tuned into it. Most people spend their entire lives stuck on the scarcity channel, not realizing they have the power to adjust the dial. They think the scarcity frequency is reality when it's actually just one possible interpretation of reality. It's one channel among infinite channels, and they've been conditioned to stay locked on that station their whole lives. Where did this conditioning come from? Why are so many of us defaulted to the scarcity frequency? The answer lies in your past, in your childhood, in the messages you absorbed before you were old enough to question them. You learned scarcity the way you learned language, through immersion and repetition. Maybe you grew up in a household where money was always tight and every expense created stress. Maybe you heard your parents fighting about bills, their voices tight with worry. Maybe you were told that money doesn't grow on trees, that you have to work hard for every penny, that wanting more makes you greedy or selfish. Or perhaps your scarcity programming was more subtle. Maybe your family had money but it came with strings attached. Maybe love and approval were conditional on achievement and success. Maybe you learned that your worth was tied to your productivity, your bank account, your ability to earn and accumulate. Maybe you absorbed the message that you have to prove yourself, that rest is laziness, that asking for help is weakness. All of these messages, whether spoken or unspoken, created your financial frequency. They installed a program in your nervous system that runs automatically unless you consciously intervene. This is why affirmations and vision boards often fail. You're trying to install new software while the old operating system is still running in the background. You say, "I am abundant," while your nervous system is screaming, "No, you're not, and you never will be." Remember what happened to your family. Remember how hard this is. Remember that people like us don't get to have ease with money. The old program always wins unless you address it at its root, unless you go into the source code of your scarcity frequency and begin to rewrite it from the inside out. There's something else you need to know about your wealth frequency, something that explains why you might make progress, only to sabotage yourself just when things start to improve. It's called your wealth set point, and it's operating in the background of your consciousness like a financial thermostat. Just as a thermostat maintains a consistent temperature in your home, your wealth set point maintains a consistent level of money in your life. When you go above that level, your nervous system gets uncomfortable and finds ways to bring you back down. When you go below it, you hustle and scramble to bring yourself back up. But either way, you tend to hover around the same financial reality year after year because your set point hasn't changed. Think about your financial life over the past 5 years. Has your income stayed relatively consistent, even if you've changed jobs or circumstances? Have you noticed that when you make extra money, unexpected expenses arise that bring you back to your baseline? Have you ever received a windfall only to watch it disappear faster than it arrived? This isn't bad luck. This isn't the universe punishing you. This is your wealth set point, doing exactly what it was programmed to do, keeping you at a specific financial temperature, because anything else feels dangerous to your nervous system. Your set point was established early in life based on what felt safe and familiar. If you grew up in a household where the family income was $40,000 a year, Your nervous system might have imprinted that as normal. Even if you consciously want to earn much more, your unconscious programming will work tirelessly to keep you near that familiar number because it feels like home. Anything significantly above it triggers alarm bells in your nervous system. This isn't normal. This isn't safe. What if people judge us? What if we lose it? What if we become someone we're not? Abort. Bring us back to familiar territory. This is why people sabotage themselves right on the edge of breakthrough. The entrepreneur who finally lands a major client but then drops the ball on delivery. The artist who gets an opportunity for a big show but somehow forgets to follow through. The employee who's about to get promoted but says something inappropriate to the boss. These aren't accidents. They're the wealth set point in action, doing everything it can to maintain homeostasis. Your nervous system literally prefers familiar suffering to unfamiliar success because familiar equals safe in its primitive logic. So where is your wealth set point right now? What's the financial temperature your nervous system has been maintaining? Take a moment to consider this honestly. What's the highest annual income you've sustained for a full year? Not a one-time windfall, but consistent income. That number is likely very close to your current set point. Now think about this. What would it feel like to double that number? Not just intellectually, but in your body. Does it feel exciting or terrifying? Does it feel possible or impossible? Does it feel like you or like someone else? The discomfort you feel when you imagine exceeding your set point is the energetic ceiling that's been limiting your financial reality. The good news is that set points can be adjusted. You can raise your financial thermostat, but it requires more than positive thinking. It requires working with your nervous system, gradually expanding your capacity to hold more wealth, more success, more prosperity, without panicking and contracting back to your familiar baseline. It requires proving to your body that you can be safe at higher levels of abundance, that you can be loved, that you can still be yourself, that you won't lose your identity or your values or your relationships if you allow more money to flow into your life. Let's go deeper into where your scarcity frequency actually came from. I want you to think back to your earliest memory involving money. Maybe you were in a store and you asked for something, and your parents said no, and you felt the sting of disappointment. Maybe you overheard a conversation between adults, voices hushed and urgent, words like bills and can't afford it, creating a knot of anxiety in your small stomach. Maybe you watched someone you love sacrifice and struggle, working long hours, coming home exhausted, and you absorbed the message that money requires suffering. These moments imprinted on you. They created neural pathways. They established your foundational beliefs about what money is and what it means and what it costs. For many people, the scarcity frequency is multi-generational. You're not just carrying your own money wounds. You're carrying the financial trauma of your parents, your grandparents, your ancestors. Perhaps your grandparents lived through economic depression or war or displacement. Perhaps they knew real hunger, real loss, real survival-level scarcity. That trauma lives in your DNA. It expresses itself in your nervous system. You might have grown up with material comfort and still feel the echo of ancestral poverty creating anxiety around money. You might find yourself hoarding or restricting or unable to enjoy what you have because somewhere in your lineage, someone learned that resources could disappear at any moment. Then there are your personal financial traumas. The time you lost money on a bad investment, the relationship that ended partly because of financial stress. But here's what I want you to understand. Those wounds, those traumas, those inherited patterns, they're not permanent. They're not your identity. They're just frequency patterns that got lodged in your energy field, and frequency patterns can be cleared. You can release the charge around your past financial experiences. You can complete the trauma responses that got frozen in your body. You can choose to honor your ancestors' struggles without continuing to live them out in your own life. This is the work that most wealth manifestation teachings skip over, and it's why those teachings often fail. You can't just slap positive affirmations over unhealed wounds and expect transformation. You have to go into the wound, feel it, acknowledge it, and consciously release it. Pause for a moment. Bring to mind one specific memory from your past that involved money and pain. Maybe it was a moment of humiliation. Maybe it was a moment of loss. Maybe it was a moment when you felt powerless or ashamed or afraid. Let that memory surface. Don't push it away. Just let it be there. Now notice where you feel that memory in your body. Is it in your chest, your throat, your stomach? Place your hand on that part of your body. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, imagine you're breathing out the old energy of that experience. That memory happened, yes, but it doesn't have to continue running your present moment. You can acknowledge what happened, honor the pain it caused, and choose to release its grip on your current frequency. Breathe in fresh, clear energy. Breathe out the old story. Do this several times until you feel even a slight shift, a loosening, a softening. This is the beginning of clearing your static. The words you use matter more than you might realize. Language isn't just descriptive, it's creative. Every time you speak, you're broadcasting a frequency, and that frequency is either aligning you with wealth or misaligning you with it. Most people have no idea they're constantly using language patterns that reinforce their scarcity frequency. They say things like, "I can't afford that," and "money is so tight," and "I'm so broke," without recognizing that these phrases are programming their subconscious mind and broadcasting a poverty signal to the universe. Listen to yourself for the next few days. Pay attention to how you talk about money, both out loud and in your head. Notice the casual comments you make. "That's too expensive." "I wish I could, but money is tight." "Rich people are lucky." "I'll never be able to afford that." Each of these statements is a vibrational declaration. You're literally telling the universe what frequency to send back to you. You're instructing your subconscious mind about what's true for you, and your subconscious mind is very literal. It doesn't understand sarcasm or exaggeration. It takes your words at face value and works diligently to create experiences that match what you're declaring. Here's an example most people can relate to. Someone invites you to dinner at a restaurant that's a bit pricey. Your immediate response is, "I can't afford it." Now, maybe that's technically true, in the sense that spending that money would strain your current budget. But notice the language. "I can't afford it" is a declaration of powerlessness. It's a statement about your identity. It says, "I am someone who doesn't have access to that level of experience." There's a contraction in it, a closing down, a shutting out of possibility. And every time you say it, you reinforce your scarcity frequency. What if instead you said, "I'm choosing not to prioritize that expense right now"? Do you feel the difference? Same practical outcome, but completely different energetic signature. One statement comes from lack, the other comes from agency. One broadcasts poverty, the other broadcasts conscious choice and empowerment. This might seem like semantics, but I promise you, these small linguistic shifts change your frequency, and when your frequency changes, your reality follows. Or consider how you respond when someone compliments something you have or something you did. Do you deflect? Do you diminish? "Oh, this old thing? It was nothing really. I just got lucky." Every deflection is a rejection of abundance. Every time you minimize a compliment or success, you're telling the universe, "I'm not comfortable receiving. Please don't send me more." You're literally pushing away the energy of prosperity because receiving it feels vulnerable or uncomfortable or unfamiliar. High-frequency language sounds different. It sounds like, "Money flows to me easily." Not as an affirmation you're forcing yourself to believe, but as a statement of energetic truth that you're choosing to align with. It sounds like, "I'm open to unexpected income." It sounds like, "I'm grateful for the resources I have and the resources that are coming." It sounds like, "I'm worthy of prosperity." These statements aren't about denying your current circumstances. They're about choosing which frequency you want to broadcast moving forward. They're about using your words as tools to tune your vibration to the channel of wealth. Start practicing this immediately. Before you speak about money, pause. Notice what you were about to say. Ask yourself, is this statement reinforcing scarcity or opening to abundance? If it's reinforcing scarcity, can you rephrase it? Can you find language that feels honest but also elevates your frequency? This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about becoming conscious of how you're using your words to shape your reality and choosing to use them in service of the life you want to create rather than in service of the patterns you want to leave behind. Now, let's talk about what actually creates wealth in the physical realm. Because here's where a lot of manifestation teaching goes off the rails. It tells you to visualize and affirm and raise your vibration, and then it implies that money will just magically appear without you having to do anything. That's not how it works. Frequency is essential, but it's not sufficient. You need aligned action. The difference is that when you take action from a high vibration, from the frequency of abundance, your efforts produce exponentially better results than when you take action from scarcity and desperation. Think about two people who are both working to grow their income. Person A is operating from scarcity. They're hustling out of fear. They're grinding because they're terrified of not having enough. They work long hours, they say yes to everything, they push and force and control. There's a franticness to their energy. You can feel their desperation. And ironically, despite all that effort, their results are mediocre. They're exhausted but not prosperous. They're busy but not effective. Why? Because they're broadcasting a low-frequency signal that says, I don't have enough, I'm not enough, I have to struggle. And the universe responds by giving them more struggle. Person B is operating from abundance. They take action, yes, but it's a different quality of action. It's inspired rather than forced. It's creative rather than desperate. They work hard, but there's ease in their effort. They're clear about their value. They're not afraid to say no to opportunities that don't align. They trust that the right clients, the right deals, the right opportunities will find them. There's a relaxation in their energy, even when they're being productive. And somehow, almost magically, their results are exceptional. They work less but earn more. They attract high-quality opportunities. Things fall into place. Why? Because they're broadcasting a high-frequency signal that says, I am valuable, I am worthy, I trust the process. And the universe responds by delivering experiences that match that vibration. The difference between these two approaches is everything. Scarcity-based action feels like pushing a boulder uphill. Abundance-based action feels like surfing a wave. Both involve effort, but one is fighting against the natural flow and the other is working with it. One depletes you and the other energizes you. One produces meager results despite maximum effort, and the other produces abundant results with appropriate effort. And the only difference is the frequency from which the action is being taken. So how do you know if your action is aligned? Here's a simple test. Check in with your body. When you think about taking a particular action, a particular project, a particular opportunity, does your body expand or contract? Does it feel like a yes or a no? Aligned action feels like a clear yes. There might be nervousness or excitement, but underneath it, there's rightness. There's a sense of flow. Misaligned action feels like forcing. It feels like obligation. It feels heavy. Your body knows the difference, even when your mind tries to override it with logic and fear. Many people are addicted to struggle. They've been conditioned to believe that if they're not suffering, they're not working hard enough. They've internalized the message that ease equals laziness, that rest equals failure, that anything worthwhile must be difficult. This is scarcity programming at its finest. It keeps you trapped in low-frequency action that exhausts you without creating proportional results. When you learn to take aligned action, to work from flow rather than force, you might feel guilty at first. You might worry that you're not doing enough. Your nervous system might interpret ease as danger, but I promise you, aligned action is far more powerful than desperate hustle. Always. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're standing in front of a door, and on the other side of that door is everything you've been wanting. Money, opportunities, success, abundance. The door is open. There's nothing blocking it. All you have to do is walk through. Sounds simple, right? But here's what happens for most people. Watch how people respond to offers, to opportunities, to compliments, to help. Someone offers to pay for their coffee, and they immediately resist. Oh no, I couldn't. Someone compliments their work and they deflect. It was nothing really. Someone offers to connect them with a lucrative opportunity, and they find reasons to delay or decline. These aren't isolated incidents. They're patterns. They're evidence of a nervous system that's terrified of receiving because receiving means opening, and opening feels vulnerable. For some people, the block is about worthiness. Deep down, they don't believe they deserve to receive. They look at others who have abundance and think those people must be special somehow, different, more talented, more deserving. But not them. Never them. This belief creates an energetic shield around them. Good things bounce off instead of landing. Opportunities come close, but never quite manifest. Money flows past them instead of to them. They're literally deflecting abundance because their frequency is saying, not for me. I'm not worthy of that. For others, the block is about safety. They've learned that having more means, being more visible, and visibility feels dangerous. Maybe they grew up in an environment where standing out brought criticism or punishment. Maybe they absorbed the message that it's noble to struggle, that there's virtue in poverty, that wanting more makes you greedy or selfish. Maybe they're afraid that if they become successful, they'll lose the relationships they have. The people they love won't relate to them anymore. So they keep themselves small, keep themselves struggling, because at least in the struggle, they know who they are and where they belong. Here's what you need to understand. Receiving is a skill. It's not something you either can or can't do. It's something you learn. something you practice, something you get better at over time. And the way you practice it is by starting small. You start by allowing yourself to receive compliments without deflecting them. Someone says, "You did a great job." And instead of saying, "Oh, it was nothing," you simply say, "Thank you." Feel how uncomfortable that is. Feel the urge to deflect, to minimize, to push away the positive energy, and then consciously choose to let it land. Let yourself receive it. Let yourself take in the acknowledgement, the appreciation, the recognition. Practice receiving help. Let someone hold the door for you. Let someone buy you coffee. Let someone give you advice without immediately explaining why you already knew that or why it won't work for you. Just receive it. Say thank you. Let it in. Notice how hard this is. Notice how much resistance comes up. That resistance is the same force field that's keeping money and opportunities from landing in your life. Every time you practice receiving in small ways, you're dismantling that force field. You're teaching your nervous system that it's safe to let good things in. And then notice what happens when money actually shows up. You get an unexpected check. A client pays early. You find $20 in an old coat pocket. What's your first response? Is it gratitude and celebration? Or is it, "This won't last," or "Great, but it's not nearly enough," or "I'll just lose it again anyway"? If you can't receive the small amounts with genuine appreciation, you're not going to be able to receive the large amounts either. Your frequency of receiving needs to be established before the universe can trust you with more. Visualization time. I want you to close your eyes if you can, or soften your gaze. Take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it for 4 counts, and release slowly through your mouth. Do this 3 times, allowing your body to settle with each exhale. Now imagine yourself 6 months from now. You're living your life, but something is fundamentally different. Your relationship with money has completely transformed. When you think about money, your body doesn't contract anymore. It expands. You feel peaceful. You feel confident. You know, deep in your bones, that you are supported, that resources flow to you, that you are worthy of prosperity. See yourself in this future moment checking your bank account. You're looking at the numbers on the screen and you're smiling. Not because the number is shocking, but because it feels natural. It feels right. This is your new normal. See yourself making a purchase, something you want, without that familiar knot of anxiety. Your hand doesn't hesitate as you pay. There's no internal debate, no guilt, no fear. Just easy flow. See yourself receiving an unexpected payment or opportunity. Maybe it's an email, maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's a conversation. And when it comes, you simply say thank you. No surprise, no disbelief, no questioning why you deserve it. Just easy receiving because this is normal for you now. This is who you are now. Feel what that feels like in your body. Let yourself really experience the sensations of that reality. Notice how your chest feels more open. Notice how your shoulders have dropped away from your ears. Notice how your breath is deeper, fuller, easier. Notice the subtle smile that might be forming on your lips. This is your abundance frequency. This is what you're tuning into. This isn't fantasy. This isn't wishful thinking. This is you accessing a frequency that already exists, that's already available to you right now. Take one more deep breath, and when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Remember that feeling. Store it in your body. That's your target frequency. That's where you're heading. Let's talk about gratitude, because it's probably the most misunderstood tool in the abundance toolkit. Most people practice gratitude by making lists of things they're grateful for, usually things they already have. I'm grateful for my home. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my health. That's fine. That's nice. But it doesn't actually shift your wealth frequency in a meaningful way. You know why? Because often it's coming from a place of, I should be grateful for what I have, instead of wanting more. There's a subtle scarcity in that. There's a feeling of settling, of making peace with less, of talking yourself out of desire. The gratitude that actually changes your frequency is different. It's not about being grateful for what you have instead of wanting more. It's about being grateful for what you have and for what's coming. It's about gratitude as a magnet rather than gratitude as resignation. It's feeling appreciation for the money in your account right now, however much or little that is, and simultaneously feeling appreciation for the money that's flowing toward you. It's thanking the universe for the opportunities you're currently receiving, and the opportunities that are lining up that you can't see yet. This kind of gratitude is activating. It's expansive. It raises your frequency immediately. Here's how to practice it. Instead of making a gratitude list of things you already have, make a gratitude list of things that are in the process of manifesting. Write, I'm so grateful for the unexpected income that's coming to me this week. Write, I'm so grateful for the perfect opportunities that are lining up for me right now. Right, I'm so grateful for how easily money flows to me. When you do this, you're not lying to yourself. You're not pretending. You're tuning your frequency to the reality that's forming. You're aligning yourself with the experiences that are on their way to you. And here's what happens. When you practice gratitude for what's coming, your body starts to relax. Your nervous system begins to trust. The scarcity grip loosens. And from that loosened, trusting place, you become magnetic to the very things you're giving thanks for. Think about how you feel when you're genuinely grateful. Your chest opens. Your face softens. You might even smile. There's a warmth that spreads through you. This is a high-frequency state. This is the vibration of abundance. And when you can generate this state independent of your circumstances, when you can feel grateful before you see the evidence, you become a powerful creator. You're no longer waiting for reality to change so you can feel better. You're feeling better so reality can change. That's the reversal that changes everything. Try it right now. Think of 3 things you're grateful for that are already in your life. Feel that appreciation. Good. Now think of 3 things you're grateful for that haven't manifested yet, but are on their way. Really feel the gratitude as if they've already arrived. Notice any resistance that comes up. Notice if your mind says, but that's not true yet, or I shouldn't be grateful for something I don't have. That's your scarcity programming talking. Gently set it aside and practice the feeling of gratitude anyway. This is training. You're training your frequency to stay high regardless of current conditions. You're teaching your nervous system that it's safe to feel abundant before you see evidence of abundance. And that training is what allows the physical manifestation to finally occur. Most people have a backwards relationship with money. They see it as something to accumulate, something to hold on to, something to protect. They think wealth is about having a big pile of money that sits in an account somewhere, untouched, a buffer against the dangers of the world. But that approach actually blocks the flow of money. It creates stagnation. Money is not meant to be hoarded. Money is energy, and energy needs to circulate. Think about a river. When water flows, it's clean, vibrant, alive. When water sits still, it becomes stagnant, murky, lifeless. Money is the same way. When it circulates, it multiplies. When you hold it with a tight fist, it stagnates. This doesn't mean you should be reckless with money. It doesn't mean you shouldn't save or invest or be responsible. What it means is that you watch how you feel when money leaves your account. Do you feel panic? Resentment? Do you grip the steering wheel a little tighter when you pay bills? Do you feel angry when you have to spend money on something unexpected? That emotional response is a low-frequency broadcast. You're literally telling the universe, money leaving is painful. I don't like when money goes out. This feels like loss. And the universe, being the perfect mirror that it is, will give you less money to work with because you've signaled that having money move through you is uncomfortable. What if instead, when you paid a bill, you felt gratitude? What if you thought, I'm so grateful I have the money to pay for electricity, for housing, for food? What if when you bought something, you focused not on the money leaving, but on the value arriving? What if you blessed every dollar as it left your hands, knowing that your blessing sends it out into the world to circulate and return to you multiplied? This isn't just positive thinking. This is understanding that money responds to your energetic relationship with it. When you release money with ease and trust, you signal to the universe that you're a clear channel, that money can flow through you freely, and that signal invites more money to flow to you. The same principle applies to giving. Many people are terrified to give money away because they're afraid they won't have enough for themselves. But generosity is one of the fastest ways to shift your frequency from scarcity to abundance. When you give freely, you're making a statement. You're saying, I have more than enough. I trust that more is coming. I am not operating from lack. That statement reverberates through your energy field and out into the universe. And the universe responds by proving you right. Now, I'm not suggesting you give away money you don't have. I'm not suggesting you ignore your practical needs. What I'm suggesting is that you look for opportunities to give, even small amounts, from a place of joy rather than obligation. Buy someone's coffee, leave a generous tip, donate to a cause you care about, give to a friend in need. And when you give, pay attention to how it feels. If it feels like loss, like you're losing something, then you're giving from scarcity and it won't shift your frequency. But if it feels expansive, if it feels abundant, if it feels like I have enough to share, then you're giving from abundance and your frequency will rise. There's a story about a man named David who was struggling to make ends meet. His business was barely surviving. He was stressed constantly, working all hours and still falling behind. One day he was in line at a grocery store and the woman in front of him was short on cash for her groceries. She was counting out coins, embarrassed, starting to put items back. David felt the familiar tightness in his chest. He barely had enough money himself, but something made him step forward. He told the cashier he'd cover the difference. It was only $7. The woman thanked him profusely. David walked out of the store feeling different, lighter, like something had shifted. That night, he got an email from someone who had found his website months ago and wanted to hire him for a project. The project was worth $5,000. Over the next few weeks, 3 more clients appeared, seemingly out of nowhere. David's business turned around completely. Was it the $7 at the grocery store that created this? Not directly. But the act of giving when it felt scary to give cracked something open in his energy field. It shifted him from the frequency of I don't have enough to I have enough to share. And that shift changed everything. Here's something that might surprise you. Who you are being matters more than what you are doing. You can take all the right actions, follow all the right strategies, implement all the right business plans, but if your identity is rooted in scarcity, you'll keep producing scarcity results. Your identity is the deepest level of your frequency. It's not just what you think or feel in any given moment. It's who you believe yourself to be at your core. And that core identity broadcasts a signal more powerful than any affirmation or visualization or strategy. Most people's identity is built on their past. They look at their history and use it to determine who they are. I'm someone who struggles with money. I'm not good at managing finances. I'm not the kind of person who gets lucky breaks. People, like me, don't become wealthy. These identity statements feel true because they're based on evidence, on lived experience. But here's the problem. When you define yourself by your past, you lock yourself into repeating that past. Your identity becomes a prison. You can't create a new reality because your sense of self keeps pulling you back to the familiar pattern. The transformation happens when you start to construct a new identity independent of your past. When you begin to define yourself not by who you've been, but by who you're choosing to become. This isn't fake it till you make it. This isn't pretending to be someone you're not. This is recognizing that identity is not fixed. It's fluid. It's something you're creating in every moment through the choices you make, the thoughts you think, the actions you take. You get to decide who you are. And when you decide to be someone who naturally attracts wealth, someone for whom money flows easily, someone who is worthy of prosperity, your entire energy field reorganizes around that new identity. How do you construct this new identity? You start by asking yourself a powerful question. Who would I need to be for wealth to flow to me effortlessly? Not what would I need to do, not what would I need to have. Who would I need to be? What would that version of you believe? How would that version of you carry themselves? How would they talk about money? How would they make decisions? How would they spend their time? Get specific. Create a clear picture of this identity. Then you start practicing being that person now, before you have the external results. You make choices from that identity. When faced with a decision, you ask, what would the wealthy version of me choose here? Not the version that's trying to become wealthy. The version that already is wealthy, that already embodies prosperity, and you choose from that place. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. It will feel like a stretch. Your old identity will protest. But the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. And as it becomes natural, your frequency shifts to match this new identity. And as your frequency shifts, your reality has no choice but to follow. Let me ask you something. How do you spend your free time? When you have an hour with nothing scheduled, what do? Do you scroll social media, numbing yourself, distracting yourself from discomfort? Do you watch television, consuming content passively? Do you worry, running through the same anxious thoughts on repeat? Or do you invest that time in yourself, in your growth, in activities that raise your frequency? This matters more than you might think, because who you are becoming is being determined by how you use your unstructured time. Wealthy people, people who naturally attract prosperity, tend to use their time differently. They read, they learn, they create, they connect with people who inspire them, they take care of their bodies. They spend time in practices that raise their consciousness, not because they're more disciplined or more motivated, but because their identity is different. They see themselves as someone whose time is valuable, someone who is constantly growing, someone who invests in themselves. And that identity determines their choices, which determines their frequency, which determines their results. You can't hack your way to wealth by copying someone else's schedule or habits. But you can examine how you're currently using your time and ask yourself honestly whether those choices are reinforcing your scarcity identity or building your abundance identity. Are you consuming or creating? Are you numbing or growing? Are you operating on autopilot or making conscious choices? Every hour of every day, you're either strengthening your old identity or building your new one. There's no neutral. You're always moving in one direction or the other. Now we come to the practical application, the daily system that will help you maintain your wealth frequency permanently. Because here's the truth. You can have a breakthrough experience, a moment where everything clicks and you feel your frequency shift dramatically. But if you don't have a system for maintaining that frequency, you'll gradually slide back to your default setting. Your nervous system will pull you back to what's familiar. Your environment will trigger old patterns. Your wealth frequency isn't something you achieve once and then you're done. It's something you practice daily until it becomes your new default. Your morning matters more than almost anything else. How you start your day sets your frequency for the entire day. If you wake up and immediately grab your phone, scrolling through news and social media and messages, you're letting the external world determine your vibration before you've even gotten out of bed. You're receiving everyone else's frequencies, absorbing their anxieties and opinions and agendas, and your own frequency gets lost in the noise. This is not how you maintain a wealth vibration. Instead, create a morning practice that allows you to set your frequency intentionally before you engage with the outside world. It doesn't have to be long. Even 10 minutes will change everything. Here's what I suggest. Before you do anything else, before you check your phone or talk to anyone, sit quietly. Close your eyes, take 5 deep breaths, really filling your lungs, really emptying them completely. Then, once you're grounded in your body, in the present moment, consciously choose your frequency for the day. Ask yourself, what frequency do I want to broadcast today? And then generate that frequency in your body. If you want to broadcast abundance, call up the feeling of abundance. Remember a time when you felt prosperous, or imagine a future moment when you will feel prosperous, and let that feeling fill your body. Let it expand from your center, out through your chest, your arms, your legs. Breathe into it, amplify it. Spend at least 3 minutes just marinating in this frequency. You're tuning your instrument before you play the symphony of your day. After you've set your frequency, speak your identity out loud. Say statements like, I am someone who naturally attracts wealth. Money flows to me easily and consistently. I am worthy of prosperity. I am a clear channel for abundance. Opportunities find me. Say them with conviction, with feeling, not as empty affirmations you're trying to convince yourself of, but as statements of identity you're declaring. You're telling your nervous system who you are today. You're programming your subconscious mind with the frequency you want to broadcast. This is not optional if you want to maintain a wealth vibration. This is essential. Let me give you a specific morning protocol you can use starting tomorrow. Set your alarm 10 minutes earlier than usual. When it goes off, resist the urge to hit snooze or check your phone. Sit up in bed or move to a comfortable chair. Place both feet flat on the floor. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, feeling your hands rise and fall with your breath. On the 4th breath, begin to scan your body. Start at the crown of your head. Is there tension there? Soften it. Move to your forehead, your jaw, your neck. Release any tightness you find. Continue down through your shoulders, your chest, your arms, your hands, your belly, your hips, your legs, your feet. This should take about 2 minutes. Now, with your body relaxed, ask yourself this question. If I could feel any way I wanted to feel about money today, how would I choose to feel? Don't overthink it. Let the answer arise naturally. Maybe it's peaceful. Maybe it's excited. Maybe it's confident. Maybe it's grateful. Whatever comes up, that's your target frequency for today. Now spend the next 3 minutes generating that feeling in your body. If you chose peaceful, what does peaceful feel like? Where do you feel it? In your chest? Your belly? Breathe into that sensation. Amplify it. Make it bigger. If you chose excited, feel that excitement. Let it bubble up in your body. Let it spread through your limbs. Really embody the frequency you've chosen. After 3 minutes of generating your frequency, open your eyes. Speak out loud. Today I am broadcasting the frequency of prosperity. I am a magnet for wealth. Opportunities flow to me. Money comes to me easily. I trust that I am fully supported. Say it like you mean it. Say it with your whole body. Then take one final deep breath and begin your day. This entire practice takes 10 minutes. 10 minutes that will completely transform your energetic baseline. Do this every single morning for the next 30 days and watch what happens. Throughout your day, you need checkpoints, times when you pause and recalibrate. Because life happens. Stress occurs. Someone says something that triggers your scarcity programming. An unexpected expense arises. Your frequency will drop. That's normal. The key is to catch it quickly and adjust. Set an alarm on your phone for noon. When it goes off, stop what you're doing. Take 3 deep breaths. Check your frequency. Ask yourself, what am I broadcasting right now? If you notice you've dropped into scarcity, into stress, into contraction, that's okay. No judgment. Just consciously choose to shift back. Take a moment to feel gratitude. Recall your abundance identity. Remember that you are safe. You are supported. Resources flow to you. Adjust your dial back to the wealth frequency. This takes 60 seconds. 60 seconds that can completely redirect the trajectory of your day. Set another alarm for 6 in the evening. Same practice. 3 breaths. Frequency check. Adjustment if needed. These checkpoints are like tuning forks. They remind your nervous system of the frequency you're committed to maintaining. They interrupt patterns before they gain momentum. They keep you conscious instead of running on autopilot. Most people go through their entire day unconscious, letting circumstances determine their vibration. You're going to be different. You're going to be someone who manages their frequency intentionally, multiple times a day. Pay attention to your language throughout the day. Remember what we talked about earlier. Every time you speak about money, you're either reinforcing abundance or reinforcing scarcity. Catch yourself before you say things like, I can't afford that, or money is tight, or I'm broke. Rephrase. Choose language that maintains your frequency. This will feel awkward at first. You'll catch yourself after you've already said the low-frequency phrase. That's fine. Just notice it. Correct it. Say what I meant to say is, and rephrase. Over time, you'll catch yourself before you say it. Eventually, the high-frequency language will become automatic. But in the beginning, it requires conscious attention. Here's a language transformation practice for you. For the next 7 days, carry a small notebook with you or use a note on your phone. Every time you catch yourself using scarcity language, write it down. Don't judge it. Just document it. At the end of each day, review your list. For each scarcity phrase, write down a high-frequency alternative. For example, if you wrote, I can't afford that, your alternative might be, I'm choosing to allocate my resources elsewhere right now. If you wrote, I'm so broke, your alternative might be, I am in a temporary cash flow adjustment. If you wrote, money is so tight, your alternative might be, I'm being conscious about my spending this month. Do this for 7 days. By day 7, you'll have a comprehensive list of your most common scarcity phrases and their high-frequency alternatives. Memorize the alternatives. Practice saying them out loud. Make them feel natural in your mouth. Then, starting on day 8, commit to using only the high-frequency alternatives. Every time you catch yourself about to use a scarcity phrase, pause and use your alternative instead. This is reprogramming work. You're literally rewiring the neural pathways in your brain, replacing automatic scarcity responses with conscious abundance responses. It takes practice, it takes repetition, but it works. Your evening practice is just as important as your morning practice. Before you go to sleep, you want to end your day on a high frequency, because the state you're in when you fall asleep is the state you're programming into your subconscious mind for 8 hours. Spend 5 minutes reviewing your day with gratitude. Not just generic gratitude, but specific gratitude for moments when you noticed abundance, when you felt flow, when you practiced your new identity, when you caught yourself and adjusted your frequency. Celebrate these moments. Acknowledge yourself for the work you're doing. This reinforces the new patterns. This tells your nervous system that you're moving in the right direction. Here's your evening protocol. 30 minutes before you want to fall asleep, turn off all screens. No phone, no television, no computer. This is non-negotiable. The blue light and stimulation from screens lower your frequency and disrupt your ability to program your subconscious effectively. Instead, sit comfortably in bed or in a chair. Have a journal nearby. Write down 3 specific moments from your day when you felt abundant, even if the feeling was small or brief. Maybe it was when you paid for something without anxiety. Maybe it was when you received a compliment and actually let it land. Maybe it was when you noticed a beautiful sunset and felt grateful. Write them down. Feel the feeling again as you write. Then write down 3 things you're grateful for that are coming to you. Use present tense as if they've already happened. I'm so grateful for the unexpected income I received this week. I'm so grateful for the perfect opportunity that presented itself. I'm so grateful for how easy and natural it feels to have money. Now, feel the gratitude as you write. Let it fill your chest. Let it spread through your body. This is you programming your subconscious mind. This is you broadcasting your frequency into the field of all possibilities while your conscious mind is quiet and receptive. After you've written, close your journal. Lie down, place your hands on your heart. Close your eyes. Take 5 slow, deep breaths. With each exhale, feel yourself sinking deeper into relaxation. Now bring to mind the feeling of your abundance frequency one more time. Generate it in your body. Feel wealthy, feel prosperous, feel supported. Let that be the last conscious experience you have before you drift off. Don't worry about doing it perfectly. Don't worry if your mind wanders. Just keep gently bringing your attention back to the feeling of abundance. Your subconscious mind is absorbing this frequency. While you sleep, it's working to align your reality with the signal you're broadcasting. Do this every single night for 30 days. No exceptions. Even if you're exhausted. Even if you get home late. Even if you don't feel like it. Especially if you don't feel like it. Because those are the nights when your old patterns are strongest. When your scarcity programming is trying to reassert itself. Those are the nights when maintaining your practice matters most. Consistency is everything. One night of practice creates a small shift. When challenges arise, your default pattern will be to contract, to drop into scarcity, to panic. This is normal. This is what your nervous system has been trained to do for years, maybe decades. But now you have awareness. Now you have tools. So when you notice yourself contracting, here's exactly what to do. First, name what's happening. Say out loud or in your mind, I notice I'm contracting. I notice I'm dropping into fear. I notice my scarcity programming is activated. This simple act of naming creates space between you and the pattern. You're no longer identified with it. You're observing it. Second, breathe. This is not optional. Your breath is the fastest way to shift your nervous system state. Take 5 deep breaths. Breathe in for a count of 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6. The longer exhale signals to your nervous system that you're safe. Do this 5 times. You'll feel your body start to shift. The panic will begin to loosen its grip. Third, ask yourself this question. What would the abundant version of me do right now? Not the version that's panicking. Not the version that's scared. The version that trusts. The version that knows they're supported. The version that believes in flow. What would they do? Listen for the answer. It might surprise you. It might be completely different from what your fear is telling you to do. Trust it. Act from that place. Here's a specific example. Let's say your car breaks down and the repair is going to cost $800 you don't have. Your immediate response is panic. Your chest tightens. Your mind starts racing. How am I going to pay for this? I can't afford this. Why does this always happen to me? I'm never going to get ahead. You can feel yourself spiraling into scarcity. This is your moment. This is your opportunity to practice something different. Step 1. Name it. I notice I'm panicking about money. I notice my scarcity programming is activated. I notice I'm telling myself stories about never having enough. Step 2. Breathe. 5 breaths. 4 in, hold 4, 6 out. Feel your body start to calm. Step 3. Ask the question. What would the abundant version of me do right now? Listen. The abundant version of you might say, I trust that a solution will present itself. I trust that resources always flow to me when I need them. I'll take care of this repair, and I know the money will come from somewhere, expected or unexpected. Feel how different that is from panic. Feel how your body responds to that trust. Step 4. Take aligned action. Maybe you call the mechanic and ask if you can make payments. Maybe you reach out to a friend. Maybe you sell something you don't need anymore. Maybe you pick up an extra project, but you're taking action from trust, not from panic. From abundance, not from scarcity. And that frequency difference changes everything. When you act from abundance, even in challenging circumstances, you're broadcasting to the universe that you're solid, that your frequency isn't conditional on ease, that you're committed to this new way of being. And the universe responds by supporting you in ways you couldn't have predicted. Within days of that car repair, maybe a client pays you early. Maybe someone offers you work. Maybe you find money you forgot you had. Maybe a relative sends you a gift. The solution appears because you stayed in your abundance frequency instead of dropping into scarcity. This will happen again and again as you practice. Challenges will come, and they'll become opportunities to strengthen your frequency instead of evidence that you're failing. Let me introduce you to what I call the relapse proofing plan. Because here's what typically happens when people start this work. They get excited. They practice diligently for a week, maybe 2. They start to see some shifts. They feel different. And then something happens. A big challenge arises, or they get busy, or they have a moment of doubt, and they stop practicing. They miss one morning practice, then another. They slip back into old language patterns. They stop doing their evening review, and within a few weeks, they're right back where they started. Same frequency, same results, feeling discouraged and convinced that change isn't possible for them. This doesn't have to be you, but it requires preparation. You need to relapse-proof your practice before the relapse happens. Here's how. First, identify your most likely obstacles. What's going to try to pull you off your practice? Is it a busy work schedule? Family obligations? Self-doubt? Fatigue? Write down your top 3 obstacles. Be honest. These are the things that have derailed you from other commitments in the past. They're going to show up again. Second, create specific strategies for each obstacle. If your obstacle is a busy schedule, your strategy might be to do your practice first thing in the morning, before anything else can interfere, and to have a shortened version of your practice ready for extra busy days. Even if you can only do 3 minutes instead of 10, do the 3 minutes. That's infinitely more powerful than skipping entirely. If your obstacle is self-doubt, your strategy might be to have a list of evidence ready, documenting every shift you notice, every synchronicity, every moment of flow. When doubt arises, you read that list. You remind yourself of what's working instead of letting doubt convince you nothing is working. Third, build in accountability. Tell someone you trust what you're doing, not someone who's going to judge you or talk you out of it, but someone who will support you and check in with you. Ask them to message you once a week to see how your practice is going, or find a practice partner, someone who's also committed to shifting their wealth frequency. Text each other every morning after you do your practice. Share wins. Support each other through challenges. The simple act of knowing someone else is tracking your commitment makes you far more likely to follow through. Fourth, set up environmental cues that support your practice. Put a note on your bathroom mirror that says, "What frequency am I choosing today?" Set your phone wallpaper to an image that reminds you of abundance. Put your journal on your pillow so you can't get into bed without seeing it. Make it as easy as possible to remember and as hard as possible to forget. Your environment should be working for you, not against you. Fifth, prepare for the moment when you do slip. Because you will. You'll miss a day. You'll use scarcity language. You'll react from fear instead of trust. This is guaranteed to happen. It doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean you're back at square one. It means you're human. The key is how quickly you get back on track. Have a plan ready for this moment. As soon as you notice you've slipped, do a quick reset practice. 3 deep breaths. 1 statement of your abundance identity. 1 moment of gratitude. That's it. Don't spiral into self-judgment. Don't tell yourself you've ruined everything. Just reset and continue. The people who succeed with this work aren't the ones who never slip. They're the ones who get back up immediately every time they do. Now I want to introduce you to the 30-day micro-challenge system. These are small, specific practices you can implement day by day to steadily build your wealth frequency. Each challenge is designed to be doable in just a few minutes, but powerful enough to create real shifts. You're going to complete 1 challenge per day for the next 30 days, in addition to your morning and evening practices. These challenges will give you concrete actions to take, ways to embody your new frequency in the physical world. Day 1 challenge. Give away $1 to someone in need with genuine joy. This could be to a homeless person, dropped in a donation box, sent to a charity. The amount doesn't matter. What matters is that you give it freely, feeling abundant as you do. Notice how it feels. Notice any resistance. Breathe through the resistance and choose abundance anyway. Day 2 challenge. Receive a compliment without deflecting. Someone will compliment you today, even if it's small. When they do, look them in the eye, smile, and say thank you. I receive that, nothing else. Don't explain, don't minimize, don't deflect. Just receive. Notice how uncomfortable this might be. That discomfort is your receiving block. You're starting to dismantle it. Day 3 challenge. Upgrade 1 small thing in your life. Buy the nicer coffee. Use the good towels you've been saving. Wear the outfit you've been reserving for special occasions. Treat yourself like someone who deserves good things, because you do. This signals to your nervous system that abundance is your normal state, not something reserved for rare occasions. Day 4 challenge. Speak your wealth identity out loud in the mirror. Look yourself in the eyes and say, "I am someone who naturally attracts wealth. Money flows to me easily. I am worthy of prosperity. Say it 3 times. Feel it, embody it. Let it be true in this moment, regardless of external evidence. Day 5 challenge. Find evidence of abundance in your current life. Write down 10 things you have right now that represent abundance. A comfortable place to sleep, clean water, clothes to wear, access to this audiobook, people who care about you, your skills and talents. Train your brain to see the abundance that already exists. What you focus on expands. Day 6 challenge. Release one thing you're holding onto from scarcity. This could be physical, like an item you're keeping just in case that you haven't used in years. Or it could be emotional, like a grudge or resentment related to money. Choose one thing and consciously let it go. Donate the item or write the resentment on paper and burn it. Create space for new abundance to flow in. Day 7 challenge. Celebrate a money win, no matter how small. Did you find a quarter? Did someone buy? Day 8 challenge. Practice abundant body language for 1 full day. Stand tall, shoulders back, chin up, make eye contact. Speak clearly, take up space. Your body language broadcasts a frequency just as powerfully as your thoughts do. Wealthy people carry themselves differently. Practice being that person physically. Day 9 challenge. Say no to something that doesn't serve you, even if it's financially tempting. Maybe it's a client who drains you. Maybe it's a side gig that pays but makes you miserable. Say no from a place of trust that better opportunities are coming. This is you choosing abundance over scarcity, even when scarcity looks like immediate money. Trust the process. Day 10 challenge. Visualize your future wealthy self for 5 minutes. Close your eyes. See yourself 1 year from now, living the abundant life you desire. What are you wearing? Where do you live? How do you spend your days? Who are you with? Make it vivid. Make it real. Feel it in your body. This is programming your subconscious with your new reality. Day 11 challenge. Change one scarcity habit today. Maybe you always turn off lights to save electricity, even when it makes your home feel dark and depressing. Today, leave them on. Enjoy your space. Trust that you can afford the electricity. Or maybe you always buy the cheapest option of everything. Today, buy something mid-range instead. Choose one scarcity habit and deliberately do the opposite. Feel the freedom in it. Day 12 challenge. Write a thank you note to money. Yes, literally. Write a letter to money as if it's a friend. Thank it for all the ways it has served you. Apologize for any times you've resented it or feared it. Tell it you're ready for a new relationship. Invite it to flow to you more easily. This might feel silly, but remember, money is energy, and energy responds to how you relate to it. Day 13. Challenge. Spend 10 minutes researching something you'd like to do that feels financially out of reach. A vacation, a course, a purchase. Don't talk yourself out of it. Just research it. Look at pictures. Read reviews. Let yourself feel the desire without immediately shutting it down with, "I can't afford it." You're training yourself to stay open to possibilities instead of closing down to them. Day 14. Challenge. Clean out your wallet or purse. Remove old receipts. Organize your cards. Straighten your cash. Treat your wallet like the important tool it is. Wealthy people respect their money and the places they keep it. This physical act sends a signal to your subconscious that you value money and are ready to steward more of it. Day 15 challenge. 2-week checkpoint. Review your journal entries from the past 2 weeks. Write down every shift you've noticed, no matter how small. Has your language changed? Has your body felt different? Have any opportunities or money shown up? Document it all. This is your evidence that the work is working. When doubt comes later, you'll need this list. Day 16 challenge. Spend time with someone who has an abundant mindset. Have coffee with a friend who talks easily about money. Ask them questions. How do they think about wealth? What's their relationship with money? Absorb their frequency. Notice how different it feels from people who constantly complain about scarcity. You become like the people you spend time with. Choose wisely. Day 17 challenge. Create a vision board, but make it different from typical vision boards. Instead of just pasting pictures of things you want, include images of how you want to feel. Freedom, joy, peace, ease, confidence. Because remember, you're not trying to manifest specific things. You're trying to embody a specific frequency. Let the board reflect the frequency, not just the stuff. Day 18 challenge. Practice receiving energy through your breath. Sit quietly. As you breathe in, imagine you're breathing in golden light, pure abundance energy from the universe. As you breathe out, imagine you're releasing any blocks to receiving. Do this for 5 minutes. You're literally practicing the energetic act of receiving. Your body is learning that it's safe to take in good things. Day 19 challenge. Do something generous for yourself. Take yourself to lunch. Buy yourself flowers. Take a long bath. Get a massage. Treat yourself the way you would treat someone you deeply love and value. Because you are someone you should deeply love and value. Generosity toward yourself is just as important as generosity toward others. Both broadcast abundance. Day 20 challenge. Identify your biggest money fear and write it down. Now write down the opposite. If your fear is, I'll never have enough, the opposite is, I always have exactly what I need. Spend 5 minutes feeling into the opposite statement. What would it feel like if that were true? Generate that feeling in your body. You're creating new neural pathways, new possibilities. Day 21 challenge. 3-week checkpoint and celebration. You've been practicing for 3 weeks. That's huge. Most people quit long before this. Celebrate yourself. Do something special to mark this milestone, and then recalibrate. What's working best in your practice? What feels hardest? Adjust your protocol based on what you're learning. Make it sustainable for you. Day 22 challenge. Pay a bill with genuine gratitude. Whether it's rent, electricity, phone, whatever bill you have to pay, do it while feeling grateful. Grateful for the electricity that powers your life. Grateful for the home that shelters you. Grateful that you have the money to pay this bill. Transform bill paying from a resentful obligation to a gratitude practice. This shifts everything. Day 23 challenge. Ask for something. Ask for a raise. Ask for a discount. Ask for help with a project. Practice the act of asking without immediately talking yourself out of your request or apologizing for it. Most people in scarcity never ask for anything because asking feels vulnerable. Asking is receiving practice. Even if the answer is no, you've practiced being someone who asks, and that's abundance frequency. Day 24 challenge. Create a money mantra and repeat it 100 times today. Choose a simple statement like, money flows to me easily, or I'm a prosperity magnet, or wealth is my natural state. Set aside 10 minutes and just repeat it, out loud if possible. Let it sink into your subconscious through sheer repetition. This is old school programming, and it works. Day 25 challenge. Notice and interrupt one fear spiral today. At some point today, your mind will start spinning a story about scarcity. What if I can't pay my bills? What if I never get ahead? What if I lose everything? The moment you notice it starting, interrupt it. Say stop. That's not the story I'm choosing anymore. Then deliberately choose a different story. One of trust, one of support, one of flow. Day 26 challenge. Give away something you value. Not something you don't want anymore. Something you actually like, something that has value to you. Give it to someone who will appreciate it. This is advanced abundance practice. You're demonstrating to yourself and the universe that you trust there's more where that came from. You're showing that you're not operating from scarcity or attachment. You're in flow. Day 27 challenge. Dress like your wealthy self for the entire day. Wear your best outfit. Do your hair. Present yourself as if you're already living the abundant life you're creating. Notice how different you feel. Notice how people respond to you differently. Your external presentation affects your internal frequency, and your internal frequency creates your reality. Use this Day 28 challenge. Visualize money coming to you from multiple sources. Close your eyes. See money flowing to you as a client payment. See it arriving as a gift. See it coming from an unexpected source. See it appearing from places you haven't even thought of yet. You're opening up multiple channels for abundance to reach you instead of fixating on one single source. The universe has infinite ways to deliver. Let it. Day 29 challenge. Write yourself a check for an amount that feels like a stretch but not impossible. Date it 6 months from now. Put it somewhere you'll see it regularly. This is you declaring an intention. This is you putting a stake in the ground. You're telling yourself and the universe, this is what I'm calling in. Belief isn't required. Willingness to imagine it is enough. Day 30 challenge. Final integration day. Spend 20 minutes reflecting on the entire month. Write down every change you've noticed. How do you feel about money now compared to 30 days ago? What shifts have happened in your external reality? What opportunities have appeared? How has your language changed? How has your energy changed? Document it all. Then ask yourself, am I willing to continue this practice for another 30 days? Because if you've come this far, you already know the answer. You've felt the shifts. You've seen the evidence. Now you just have to keep going. These 30 challenges, combined with your morning and evening practices, Create a comprehensive system for maintaining and strengthening your wealth frequency. But here's the thing, after 30 days, you don't stop. Day 31 is the beginning of your new normal. The practices that felt awkward and forced on day 1 should feel natural by day 30. And if they don't feel completely natural yet, that's okay. Keep practicing. Some patterns take longer to rewire than others. Your only job is to stay committed to the frequency, regardless of how long it takes to see full manifestation in your external reality. Let's talk about what to do when you hit a plateau. Because you will. There will be periods where you're practicing consistently, doing everything right, and it seems like nothing is changing. Here's what's actually happening during a plateau. You're in the gap between frequency shift and physical manifestation. Your energy has changed, but the physical reality hasn't caught up yet. Think of it like this. You're a radio tower, and you've changed your broadcast signal. But the receivers out in the world, the people and opportunities and circumstances that will respond to your new signal, haven't tuned in yet. They're still receiving the old signal, the one you were broadcasting for years. It takes time for the new signal to reach them. It takes time for the physical world to reorganize itself around your new frequency. During a plateau, your job is to trust the gap. Keep broadcasting your new signal even when you can't see results yet. Keep practicing your morning and evening protocols. Keep using high-frequency language. Keep embodying your abundant identity. Because the moment you go back to your old frequency, the moment you say, "This isn't working, I might as well give up," you reset the entire process. You send out mixed signals. The universe doesn't know what you want. It can't respond to a frequency that keeps changing. Consistency through the gap is everything. Here's your plateau protocol. First, intensify your evidence gathering. Go back through your journal and find every tiny shift that has happened, a compliment you received, a moment of ease, a small amount of money that showed up unexpectedly. Amplify these. Celebrate them. Write about them in detail. You're training your brain to see evidence instead of lack. What you focus on expands, so focus on evidence of progress, not evidence of stagnation. Second, add a new practice to shake things up. Maybe you've been doing the same morning practice for 30 days. Change it. Add music. Move your body. Speak your identity statements in a different location. Do your evening practice outside under the stars. Novelty creates new neural pathways. It prevents your practice from becoming rote and mechanical. Keep it fresh. Keep it alive. Third, give more. When you hit a plateau, your scarcity programming will tell you to contract, to hold on tight, to stop giving because nothing is coming in. Do the opposite. Give more. Give money if you can. Give time. Give energy. Give compliments. Give help. Giving is the physical embodiment of abundance. It broadcasts to the universe that you trust the flow, and trust is magnetic. Fourth, connect with your why. Why do you want wealth? Not for the sake of money itself, but what does wealth represent to you? Freedom, security, the ability to help others, the chance to live creatively instead of surviving paycheck to paycheck. Reconnect with that deeper why. Let it fuel your commitment to the practice. When you remember what you're really doing this for, temporary plateaus lose their power to discourage you. Fifth, get support. Talk to your accountability partner. Join a community of people who are doing similar work. Read books about wealth consciousness. Listen to interviews with people who have transformed their financial reality. Surround yourself with evidence that transformation is possible. Isolation during a plateau is dangerous. Connection is powerful. Don't try to do this alone. Now let's talk about what happens when the money actually starts to show up. Because this brings its own set of challenges. You've been practicing your wealth frequency for weeks or months. You've been consistent. You've done the work. And then something happens. A client appears. A check arrives. An opportunity manifests. Money starts to flow. Your first response might be excitement, celebration, relief. That's good. That's natural. But watch what happens next. For many people, when money shows up, old patterns immediately activate. The urge to hoard it, the fear that it won't last, the impulse to immediately spend it all to relieve the pressure of having money, which feels unfamiliar and uncomfortable, or the temptation to go back to old ways thinking, well, I got what I wanted so I can stop practicing now. All of these responses will derail your progress. You need a protocol for receiving wealth, not just for attracting it. Here's your receiving protocol. When money shows up, pause. Take 3 breaths. Feel the gratitude. Let yourself really celebrate. Write about it in your journal. Acknowledge that your frequency worked. This is evidence. This is proof. Then ask yourself, how does the wealthy version of me respond to this money? Not the version that's been in scarcity, the version who expects money to flow, the version for whom this is normal. What would they do? The wealthy version of you probably doesn't hoard it in fear. They probably don't immediately blow it all in a scarcity-driven spending spree. They probably allocate it consciously, some to savings, some to investing in themselves or their business, some to giving, some to enjoying life. They make conscious decisions from abundance, not reactive decisions from scarcity or fear. Practice being this version. Use the arrival of money as an opportunity to strengthen your abundant identity, not to slip back into old patterns. Also, watch your language when money shows up. Don't say things like "finally," or "it's about time," or "this never happens to me." Those statements reinforce the frequency that money showing up is rare and abnormal. Instead, say things like, "Of course this happened. This is how life works for me now." Say money flows to me easily and consistently. Say this is just the beginning. You're normalizing the experience of receiving wealth. You're telling your nervous system that this is your new baseline, not a one-time anomaly. And then, this is crucial, keep practicing. Don't stop your morning practice just because you got the result you wanted. Don't abandon your frequency work now that money has appeared. Because if you do, you'll slip back to your old frequency and you'll create your old results again. The practice isn't something you do until you get money. It's something you do to become someone who naturally has money flowing to them, consistently, ongoing, for the rest of your life. That requires permanent frequency adjustment, not temporary effort. Let's address some specific fears that might be coming up for you. One common fear is, what if I become someone I don't recognize? What if having money changes me in ways I don't like? This fear is more common than people realize, and it's powerful enough to keep you in scarcity even when you consciously want abundance. The fear is rooted in your identity, in your sense of who you are and what tribe you belong to. Here's the truth. Yes, having money will change you, but not in the way you fear. You won't suddenly become shallow or greedy or disconnected from your values. What will change is that you'll have more choices, more freedom, more capacity to live according to your values instead of just surviving. You'll have the option to give more, to create more, to help more. The core of who you are doesn't change. Your values don't change. Your capacity to express those values expands. If you're afraid of becoming like rich people you judge or resent, remember this. You get to define what wealthy looks like for you. You get to be the kind of wealthy person you want to see in the world. Generous, kind, conscious, grounded. You don't have to adopt anyone else's version of wealth. You create your own. And by becoming a wealthy person who embodies your values, you become a model for a different way of being prosperous. That's powerful. That's needed. Another common fear is, what if I get money and then lose it? What if I can't sustain it? This fear is rooted in your wealth set point, in the part of you that believes you're only safe at a certain financial level. Here's how to work with this fear. First, acknowledge it. It's valid. Your nervous system is trying to protect you. Thank it for trying to keep you safe. Then gently remind yourself that you're working on expanding your capacity to hold wealth. You're raising your set point. The fact that you might lose money in the future doesn't mean you shouldn't allow yourself to receive it now. You're building new muscles. Like any muscles, they get stronger with use. Also, reframe what losing money means. In scarcity consciousness, losing money is a catastrophe. It's evidence that you're not good enough, that you failed, that you were right to be afraid. In abundance consciousness, losing money is just information. It's feedback. It's an opportunity to learn and adjust. It doesn't mean anything about your worth or your future. Money flows. Sometimes it flows in, sometimes it flows out. Your job is to stay in your abundance frequency either way, to trust that more is always coming, to make conscious choices from that trust rather than reactive choices from fear. Another fear. What if people judge me? What if my friends or family resent me for having more? This is a real concern, and it's one that stops many people from allowing themselves to rise. You're afraid of outgrowing your tribe. You're afraid of being seen as someone who thinks they're better than everyone else. You're afraid of isolation or judgment or rejection. These fears make sense, but they're also keeping you trapped. Here's what I want you to understand. The people who truly love you will celebrate your abundance. They'll be happy for you. They'll be inspired by you. The people who resent you or judge you are dealing with their own scarcity programming. Their resentment isn't about you. It's about their own pain. And while that's unfortunate, it's not your responsibility to stay small to make them comfortable. You staying in scarcity doesn't help them. It doesn't serve anyone. In fact, your transformation might be the very thing that gives them permission to transform too. You might lose some relationships as you rise. That's true. But you'll gain new ones. You'll attract people who match. Here's what happened. She stopped hiding. She showed up authentically. Some family members did pull away. They made comments. They created distance. But others surprised her. Her younger sister said, "Watching you do this has shown me it's possible. I'm starting my own business." Her mother, after some time, admitted she was proud of her, that she wished she had been brave enough to try. Jennifer's rise gave permission to others in her family to rise too. Not all of them, but some. And the ones who couldn't handle it, she loved from a distance. She didn't abandon them, but she didn't let their discomfort dictate her choices anymore. This might be your path too. You might face judgment. You might face resentment. You might lose some people. And you get to decide whether that possibility is worth staying in scarcity forever. I think you already know the answer. The fear of judgment is powerful, but your desire for freedom is more powerful. Let that desire lead. Here's a grounding practice you can use whenever fear arises. Stop what you're doing. Place both feet flat on the floor. Feel the ground beneath you. You are here. You are safe. Take 5 deep breaths, and with each breath, imagine roots growing from the soles of your feet down into the earth. Deep, strong roots, anchoring you, grounding you. Now say out loud, "I am safe. I am supported. I am allowed to prosper. My abundance helps everyone around me. I am strong enough to handle whatever comes." Feel the truth of those words in your body. Let them anchor you deeper than the fear. Do this practice whenever you need it. Ground yourself in truth instead of letting fear carry you away. Now let's talk about your environment, because your physical surroundings are constantly influencing your frequency, whether you realize it or not. If your home is cluttered, chaotic, or filled with broken things, you're broadcasting scarcity. If you're surrounded by items you don't love, items you're keeping out of guilt or obligation or just in case, you're in scarcity frequency. Your environment should reflect and support the abundant life you're creating, not reinforce the scarce life you're leaving behind. Take a walk through your home right now if you can, or do this later today. Look at everything with fresh eyes. Does this item make you feel abundant or scarce? Does it bring you joy, or does it carry old energy? Is it something the wealthy version of you would have in their space? I'm not saying you need to throw everything away or buy all new furniture. I'm saying you need to be conscious about what you're surrounding yourself with. Start small. Choose one area. Maybe it's your bedroom. Clear out anything that doesn't support your abundance frequency. Old clothes you're keeping even though they don't fit or you never wear them. Papers and clutter piled on surfaces. Items that remind you of difficult times. Create space. Create order. Create beauty. Even if you do this in just one corner of one room, it matters. That corner becomes a frequency anchor, a physical representation of your new reality. Then tend to that space. Keep it clean. Keep it beautiful. Maybe you put fresh flowers there. Maybe you light a candle. Maybe you place an object there that represents abundance to you. You're creating a sacred space that holds your frequency. When you spend time in that space, your frequency naturally rises. And as you feel the impact of that one clear, beautiful space, you'll want to expand it. Slowly, your entire environment will transform to match your new frequency. Also, fix what's broken. Seriously, that leaky faucet, that burnt-out light bulb, that drawer that doesn't close properly, those are all broadcasting scarcity. They're saying, "I'm someone who lives with broken things. I'm someone who doesn't deserve to have things work properly. I'm someone who can't afford to fix things." Every day you look at those broken items, you're reinforcing that frequency. Fix them. Or if you can't fix them yourself, hire someone to fix them. If you truly can't afford to fix them, get creative. Trade services with someone. Ask for help. Find a way. The act of fixing what's broken is an act of self-respect. It's an abundance practice. Same with wearing clothes that make you feel good. I know this might sound superficial, but it's not. How you present yourself to the world affects how you feel about yourself, which affects your frequency, which affects your reality. If you're walking around in worn-out clothes that don't fit well because they're good enough, or "I'm saving my nice clothes for special occasions," you're in scarcity. The wealthy version of you dresses well regularly, not because they're trying to impress anyone, but because they value themselves. They treat their body and their appearance with respect. You don't need expensive clothes. You need clothes that fit well, that are in good condition, that make you feel confident when you wear them. Take inventory of your wardrobe. Get rid of anything that makes you feel frumpy or uncomfortable. or reminds you of a version of yourself you're leaving behind. Keep only what makes you feel good, and then wear those clothes. Wear them now. Don't save them. Every day is a special occasion when you're building your wealth frequency. Let's talk about your relationships, because the people you spend time with have a massive impact on your frequency. There's a saying that you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This isn't just a nice metaphor, it's neurological fact. Your brain is constantly absorbing and mimicking the frequencies of the people around you. It's how we bond. It's how we create connection. But it also means that if you're surrounded by people who operate from scarcity, who complain constantly, who tell you your dreams are impossible, you will absorb that frequency. It will become harder and harder to maintain your abundance vibration. This doesn't mean you need to abandon everyone in your life, but it does mean you need to be strategic about whose energy you're absorbing regularly. You might need to create some distance from people who are deeply entrenched in scarcity, at least for a while. You might need to limit your time with the friend who always wants to complain about how terrible everything is. You might need to stop attending gatherings where the primary activity is bonding over shared financial struggle. At the same time, you need to actively seek out people who embody the frequency you're developing. People who talk about money easily and positively. People who are building businesses or pursuing their creative dreams. People who believe in abundance and possibility. These people exist. You need to find them, join groups, attend workshops, engage in online communities, go to places where abundant-minded people gather. Bookstores, networking events, seminars, creative spaces. Put yourself in environments where you'll naturally encounter people who match your new frequency. When you find these people, invest in those relationships. Reach out, ask to meet for coffee, be curious about their journey, share yours, build authentic connections. Having even 1 or 2 people in your life who truly understand what you're doing, who are doing similar work, who can celebrate your wins and support you through challenges, will make an enormous difference in your ability to sustain your practice long term. Also, be mindful of what you're consuming through media. What podcasts are you listening to? What books are you reading? What shows are you watching? What accounts are you following on social media? All of this is information you're feeding your brain, frequencies you're absorbing. If you're consuming content that focuses on disaster, scarcity, doom, fear, that's lowering your frequency. If you're following accounts of people flaunting wealth in ways that make you feel inadequate, that's lowering your frequency too. Curate your media consumption intentionally. Follow people who inspire you. Listen to podcasts about growth, consciousness, abundance. Read books that expand your thinking. Watch content that uplifts you. Unfollow anyone who makes you feel worse about yourself or your life. You have control over what you consume. Use that control to protect and elevate your frequency. Now, as we move toward the close of this journey together, I want to talk about what happens next. You've learned the mechanics of frequency. You've been given practices, protocols, challenges, strategies. You understand how your wealth set point works, how your language shapes your reality, how your identity creates your experience. You have everything you need to transform your relationship with money and wealth. The question is, what are you going to do with this information? Because here's the truth. Most people who listen to this audiobook will do nothing. They'll find it interesting. They'll nod along. They'll think that makes sense. And then they'll go back to their lives unchanged. They'll continue broadcasting the same scarcity frequency they've always broadcast. They'll continue creating the same financial reality they've always created. And in a few months or a few years, they'll wonder why nothing ever changes for them. A smaller group will try the practices for a few days, or maybe a week. They'll do the morning protocol once or twice. They'll attempt a few of the challenges. But when they don't see immediate results, when it feels awkward or uncomfortable, when life gets busy, they'll stop. They'll tell themselves it doesn't work. They'll add this to the pile of things they tried that didn't create the transformation they wanted. And they'll continue searching for the next solution, the next secret, the next shortcut that will finally make everything easy. An even smaller group will practice consistently for a few weeks, or maybe even a full month. They'll see some shifts. They'll feel different. And then there's you. I believe you're going to be different. I believe you're going to be part of the smallest group, the group that actually does the work, that commits to the practice not for days or weeks, but for as long as it takes, that stays with their frequency through the plateaus, through the doubts, through the challenges. That treats this not as a temporary experiment, but as a permanent lifestyle change, that recognizes this as the most important work they'll ever do, because it affects every single area of their life. You're reading this, which means you've already invested several hours into understanding these principles. That's not nothing. That's significant. You wouldn't have made it this far if you weren't serious about change. So here's my invitation. Decide right now that you're going to be the person who follows through. Decide that 30 days from now, 60 days from now, 90 days from now, you're going to still be practicing your morning and evening protocols, still catching your language, still embodying your abundant identity, still choosing your frequency regardless of circumstances. Make that commitment to yourself right now. Say it out loud if you can. I commit to maintaining my wealth frequency for the next 90 days, minimum. I commit to the daily practices. I commit to staying with this work even when it feels hard, even when I don't see immediate results, even when my old patterns try to pull me back. I commit to becoming someone who naturally attracts prosperity. Feel the weight of that commitment. Feel the seriousness of it. This is you making a vow to yourself. This is you choosing a different path than the one you've been on. And then, starting tomorrow morning, begin. Set your alarm 10 minutes early. Do your morning practice. Choose your frequency. Speak your identity. Throughout the day, catch your language. At noon and in the evening, check your frequency and adjust as needed. Before bed, do your evening practice. Review your day with gratitude. Generate your abundance frequency as you fall asleep. Do this tomorrow, and then the next day, and the next day, day after day after day, until it's no longer something you have to remember to do. Until it's just who you are. Will it be easy? No. Will there be days when you don't feel like practicing? Absolutely. Will you encounter resistance, both internal and external? Without question. Will you doubt whether it's working? Probably. Will you be tempted to quit? Almost certainly. And in all of those moments, you're going to make a choice. The choice to continue or the choice to stop. The choice to trust the process or the choice to give up. The choice to honor your commitment to yourself or the choice to let yourself down one more time. I can't make those choices for you. No one can. This work ultimately is yours alone. But I can tell you this. Every single person who has transformed their financial reality, who has shifted from scarcity to abundance, who has created sustainable prosperity in their life, has made the choice to continue. They've faced the same doubts you'll face. They've hit the same plateaus you'll hit. They've encountered the same resistance you'll encounter. And they chose to keep going. They chose their frequency over their circumstances. They chose trust over fear. They chose commitment over convenience. And on the other side of that choice, they found the freedom they'd been seeking their whole lives. That freedom is available to you too, not because you're special or lucky or more deserving than anyone else, but because you're willing to do what most people aren't willing to do. You're willing to change your frequency. You're willing to sit with discomfort. You're willing to question everything you believed about money and wealth. You're willing to practice new patterns even when the old ones feel safer. You're willing to trust even when you can't see evidence yet. That willingness is everything. That willingness is the difference between people who transform and people who stay stuck. So here's what I want you to remember. You are not broken. You never were. You simply learned a frequency that doesn't serve you. And now you're learning a new one. You are capable of extraordinary change. You are worthy of profound prosperity. You are deserving of ease and abundance and flow. These aren't things you have to earn. They're your birthright. They've always been available to you. You're just now learning how to tune into them. The wealth you desire is already vibrating at a certain frequency, waiting for you to match it. Every practice you do, every time you choose abundant language over scarce language, every moment you embody your wealthy identity, you're matching that frequency. You're closing the gap. You're becoming a vibrational match to the prosperity that's been waiting for you all along. And when you finally achieve that match, when you stabilize at that frequency, the money, the opportunities, the resources will flow to you naturally. Not because you chased them, not because you forced them, not because you struggled and pushed and hustled, but because you finally became the frequency that allows them to find you. This is the truth about wealth. It's not about doing more. It's about being different. It's about broadcasting a different signal. It's about embodying a different identity. And that work, that beautiful, challenging, transformative work, is what you're committing to now. You're not just trying to make more money. You're becoming a different person. Someone who naturally attracts wealth, someone for whom prosperity is normal, someone who trusts that they are supported by the universe. That's who you're becoming. And once you become that person, the external results are inevitable. They have to follow. That's how energy works. That's how frequency works. That's how the universe works. So take a deep breath. Feel yourself here, In this moment, at the beginning of something new, you have the knowledge, you have the tools, you have the practices, you have everything you need. The only thing left is your commitment, your willingness to show up day after day and choose your frequency, your willingness to trust the process even when you can't see results yet, your willingness to stay with the work until it transforms you completely. You are ready for this. You wouldn't have been drawn to this material if you weren't ready. Something in you knows it's time. Something in you is tired of struggling. Something in you is ready to finally allow the prosperity that's been trying to reach you. Listen to that part of you, honor it, let it lead you forward. In the next 30 days, your life is going to start changing. Maybe in small ways at first, maybe in dramatic ways. Either way, change is coming. You're going to notice synchronicities, conversations that lead somewhere unexpected, opportunities that appear out of nowhere, money showing up in ways you didn't plan for, ideas that spark in your mind, connections that form, doors that open. This is your frequency at work. This is the universe responding to your new signal. Don't dismiss these things as coincidence. Recognize them as evidence. Document them. Celebrate them. They're proof that you're on the right path. In 60 days, if you stay consistent with your practice, you're going to feel different. Not just think different, feel different. Your body is going to carry itself differently. Your voice is going to sound different when you talk about money. The tightness in your chest when you check your bank account is going to be gone. The knot in your stomach when bills come is going to have dissolved. You're going to feel more peaceful, more confident, more trusting. This internal shift is more important than any external result because this is the foundation. This is the frequency that creates everything else. In 90 days, you're going to look back at who you were when you started this work and barely recognize that person. You're going to see how much scarcity was running your life, how much fear was driving your decisions, how much smallness you were accepting as normal. And you're going to feel compassion for that version of you because they were doing the best they could with what they knew. But you're not that person anymore. You've become someone new, someone who knows how to tune their frequency, someone who trusts in abundance, someone who naturally attracts prosperity. And the most beautiful part, this is just the beginning. Because once you learn how to manage your wealth frequency, you realize you can apply these same principles to every area of your life. Your relationships, your health, your creativity, your purpose. Everything operates on frequency. Everything responds to vibration. The work you're doing with money is teaching you how to be a conscious creator in every dimension of your existence. That's the real gift here. Not just more money in your bank account, though that will come, but a completely new way of being in the world. A way that's empowered instead of victimized, abundant instead of scarce, trusting instead of fearful, creative instead of reactive. This is who you're becoming. This is the journey you're on, and I'm honored to have been part of it. I'm honored that you've spent this time with me, absorbing these teachings, opening yourself to these possibilities. You've done something that most people will never do. You've invested in yourself. You've committed to your growth. You've chosen to break free from patterns that have held you and probably your family for generations. That takes courage. That takes vision. That takes a willingness to be uncomfortable for the sake of transformation. And you have all of that. So as we close this time together, I want you to know something. I believe in you. I believe in your capacity to change. I believe that the wealth you desire is already on its way to you. I believe that your commitment to your frequency will create results beyond what you can currently imagine. I believe that you are exactly where you need to be, learning exactly what you need to learn, becoming exactly who you need to become. Everything that has happened in your life has led you to this moment. Every challenge, every struggle, every financial difficulty has been preparing you for this transformation. None of it was wasted. It was all necessary to bring you here, to this point of readiness, to this moment of choice, and now you get to choose. You get to decide who you're going to be from this moment forward. You get to decide what frequency you're going to broadcast. You get to decide what reality you're going to create. No one else can make these decisions for you. No one else can do this work for you. But you're not alone in it. The universe is supporting you. Your future self is cheering for you. And somewhere, right now, there are others doing this same work, raising their frequency, breaking free from scarcity, stepping into their power. You're part of a collective shift. You're part of a movement toward conscious abundance. You're part of the solution. The world needs people who have healed their relationship with money, people who can receive wealth without guilt or fear, people who can circulate resources freely, people who understand that prosperity is not a limited pie where someone having more means someone else having less. but an infinite field where abundance for one creates abundance for all. The world needs you wealthy, not so you can hoard or display or prove anything, but so you can be fully expressed, so you can create the art you're meant to create, so you can help the people you're meant to help, so you can live the life you're meant to live. Your abundance serves everyone. Never forget that. So go forward from here with confidence, with commitment, with trust. Do your practices. Watch your language. Embody your identity. Choose your frequency again and again and again until it's no longer a choice but simply who you are. And know that every time you choose abundance over scarcity, you're not just changing your own life. You're changing the collective frequency. You're making it easier for the next person. You're proving that transformation is possible. You're being the evidence that someone else needs to finally believe they can change too. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your transformation. The vibration of wealth is calling you. It's been calling you your whole life. And now, finally, you're learning how to answer. You're learning how to tune yourself to that frequency. You're learning how to become the prosperity you seek. And once you do, once you fully embody that vibration, nothing will ever be the same. The struggle will end. The ease will begin. The flow will open. And you'll look back on this moment as the turning point. The moment everything changed, because you chose to change it. Welcome to your new frequency. Welcome to your abundant life. Welcome to the wealth that has been waiting for you all along. You are the vibration of wealth. You always have been. You just forgot for a while. But now you remember. Now you know. And now you get to live from that knowing, creating a reality that matches the truth of who you really are. Prosperous, worthy, abundant, free. This is not the end. This is the beginning. Your beginning. The beginning of the most abundant chapter of your life. Everything you've learned here is meant to be lived, practiced, embodied. Take these teachings and make them yours. Adapt them to fit your life. Let them evolve as you evolve. But most importantly, use them. Apply them. Let them transform you from the inside out. You have everything you need. The frequency is set. The practices are clear. The path is laid out before you. All that's left is for you to walk it, one day at a time, one choice at a time, one breath at a time, choosing abundance, choosing trust, choosing your wealthy identity, choosing the frequency of prosperity over and over and over again until it becomes your permanent state of being. And when you get there, when you fully embody this frequency, when wealth flows to you as naturally as breath, remember this moment. Remember when you first heard these teachings. Remember when you made the commitment. Remember the version of you who was brave enough to begin. Honor that version of you. Thank them for their courage, and then reach back and help the next person who's where you used to be. Share what you've learned. Be the proof. Be the evidence. Be the light that shows others the way forward. This is how we change the world. One frequency at a time. One person at a time. One commitment at a time. You're part of that change now. You're part of the solution. You're part of the rising tide of conscious abundance that's sweeping across the planet. And your contribution matters. Your transformation matters. You matter, so take this work seriously. Treat it as the sacred practice it is. Show up for yourself with the same dedication you would show up for anything or anyone you deeply love. Because you are worthy of that dedication. You are worthy of that commitment. You are worthy of the prosperity you desire, not because of anything you've done or achieved, but simply because you exist. Abundance is your birthright. Wealth is your natural state. You're just returning to what was always meant to be yours. Go now. Begin your practice. Start tomorrow morning with your 10-minute protocol. Carry your frequency through the day. End each evening with gratitude and intentional programming. Do your 30-day challenges. Check in with yourself regularly. Adjust when you need to. Celebrate every win. Trust the process. Stay committed to your frequency no matter what your circumstances look like. And watch as your reality slowly, steadily, inevitably transforms to match the signal you're broadcasting. The vibration of wealth is yours now. You know how to tune into it. You know how to maintain it. You know how to embody it. The rest is just practice, just showing up, just choosing, day after day after day, until one day you wake up and realize you're not choosing anymore. You're not practicing anymore. You're just being abundant, being prosperous, being wealthy, being free. That day is coming, sooner than you think, faster than you imagine. And when it arrives, you'll know that every moment of practice was worth it. Every time you chose your frequency over your circumstances was worth it. Every time you trusted when you couldn't see evidence was worth it. Because on the other side of that commitment is everything you've been longing for. Freedom, ease, flow, prosperity, peace, joy, abundance in every form. This is your destiny. Not because I say so, but because you're claiming it, because you're choosing it, because you're becoming it. And nothing can stop someone who has decided to transform their frequency and live from their truth. Nothing can hold back the tide of abundance when someone finally opens to receive it. Nothing can prevent prosperity from flowing to someone who has become a clear, open channel. You are that someone. You are that channel. You are that transformation waiting to happen. And it starts now. It starts today. It starts with this next breath, this next choice, this next moment of deciding who you're going to be. Choose abundance. Choose wealth. Choose your highest frequency. And then watch as the universe rushes in to meet you, to support you, to deliver everything you've been asking for and more. The vibration of wealth is not somewhere outside of you. It's not something you have to chase or earn or prove yourself worthy of. It's already within you. It always has been. You're not learning something new. You're remembering something ancient, something true, something that has always been yours. And that remembering, that return to your natural state of abundance, that is the greatest gift you could ever give yourself. So receive it, embrace it, embody it, live it. You are the vibration of wealth. Let that truth sink into every cell of your body. Let it rewire every neural pathway in your brain. Let it transform every aspect of your life. You are the vibration of wealth. And from this day forward, you live from that frequency. You choose from that frequency. You create from that frequency. And your life becomes a reflection of that frequency in every beautiful, abundant, prosperous way. This is your truth. This is your power. This is your frequency. Welcome home.